What's up, everybody? My name is Scott Waters and welcome to the Lifetime Metal. This is going to be a tribute video. It's going to be a tribute to bassist Jimmy Bain. Jimmy, who has played with such iconic bands as Rainbow, Dio, Wild Horses, Phil Lynott, and he even does some work with Thin Lizzy, among others. He died on January 24th of this year, 2016, and I just thought I'd show a few of the albums he played on, albums that I love. And I'm going to start off with probably one of the most iconic, one of the greatest albums ever recorded, in my opinion. This is Rainbow Rising. And Jimmy's picture on the back cover right there on the bottom. And like I said, just one of the greatest albums ever recorded. Ritchie Blackmore, of course, and Ronnie James Dio, Kazi Powell, who was also gone on to be with, in eternity with the Lord. And who else am I thinking of? And of course, Ronnie James Dio passed away as well. So. Ronnie James. So, like I said, one of the most iconic albums ever. Absolutely love this song, every moment of it, from beginning to end. As well, he played on the iconic live album, Rainbow on Stage. And this is just one of the greatest live albums ever, in my opinion. Maybe a little early in Rainbow's career, considering he only had 2 albums out before this one. But still, a classic record. I've listened to this thing hundreds of times in my lifetime and never tire of it. Again, this is actually probably, in my top 20, top 30 live albums of all times. Just a classic live album. And after he left Rainbow, he formed a band with Brian Robertson of Thin Lizzy fame. Brian Robertson left Thin Lizzy for whatever reason, and they formed this band called Wild Horses. And Wild Horses was actually the first single that the band had released, 1979, and this is actually something I just recently purchased. Oddly enough, it's autographed by Jimmy Bain, as you can see on the front, and I just purchased this maybe 2 weeks ago, and it came in the mail just this past week, so I haven't actually even showed this in a video before. And there's, of course, Jimmy in front there with his autograph across his face, and pictured again on the back. And this band is very Thin Lizzy-esque, but a little more pop-oriented, not quite as heavy. Well, actually, on this single, the A-side is pretty poppy, in my opinion, almost AOR-ish in nature, whereas the B-side, called The Rapist, is a heavy track that I really enjoy. Regardless, a very cool single, featuring bassist Jimmy Bain, who also co-wrote much of the songs in that band. Let's see, next up we've got a couple of solo albums from Philip Lynott, Solo in Soho, and the Philip Lynott album. And Jimmy Bain either played bass or just co-wrote songs on both of these albums. These are both, I think, like early 80s. Let's see if I remember the years on these. 1980 and 82, I think. Am I wrong? Let's see here. Nope, I'm right. So this is 1980, 1982. And again, featuring Jimmy Bain on bass, especially on this for the second album. I think Bain played quite a bit on here. Whereas this one he may have only played on a couple songs. And he also wrote some stuff with Phil. One that most people may not know. This is Gary Moore, Dirty Fingers, and this again features Jimmy Bain on bass. And much like Rainbow, where we've lost Dio and Kazi Powell, we've also lost Gary Moore in recent years. So another one who's gone on to eternity. Gary Moore, Dirty Fingers. And then, of course, one of my all-time favorite metal albums from the 80s. This is Dio, Holy Diver. Saw running on this tour with Bain playing bass. Saw him at the Tower Theater in Philadelphia with Twisted Sister opening. Just a memory I'll never forget. One of the greatest shows I've ever saw. One of the greatest shows I've ever seen. And, yeah, classic album. Very different from the Rainbow days. Very different from Gary Moore or Wild Horses, but still just a great heavy metal album featuring Bain on bass. And of course the follow-up, The Last in Line. And the follow-up to that, this is Sacred Heart, which also features, and again I saw Dio on these next 2 tours at the Spectrum. They played in the Tower Theater in '83 to a couple thousand people, and they sold out the Spectrum the very next year. And then the year after that, they played the Spectrum again, and they recorded the Sacred Heart tour on VHS, and eventually was released on vinyl and CD and DVD and Blu-ray and all that stuff. Find them to Sacred Heart, live in Philly in 1986, again featuring Jimmy Bain on bass. And one of the more underrated albums that he played on, in my opinion, this is Dio Dream Evil. Most people don't seem to like this album, but I absolutely love this album. I thought it was a return to form. Sacred Heart was a bit poppy, in my opinion, and it had a more lighter sound. This returned to the darker Dio sound, which I really enjoyed. Night People, the title track, All the Fools Sailed Away. Just classic tracks on here, if you ask me. Again, featuring Jimmy Bain on bass. And a few more. This is Killing the Dragon, featuring Jimmy Bain on bass as well. And one more from Dio. This is Magica, which is a concept album featuring Jimmy Bain on bass. And I saw this tour as well. Dio played the entire Magica album from beginning to end. So when this album came out on CD and I had tickets to see that show, I played this CD over and over and over and over again in my car till I knew it inside out, because I really wanted to just know the album inside and out when I went to see the show. And when I did see the show, it was awesome. I loved it because I knew every song on there, and it was just great. And then a few other things I wanted to show real quickly. A couple of promo photos. There's Jimmy Bain right there with Dio. This, I believe, is a Sacred Heart promo photo, and there is Jimmy Bain right there. And then finally, this is the last band, as far as I know, that Bain was involved in. This is The Last in Line, which is pretty much the Dio lineup minus Dio. And yeah, this is autographed by Jimmy and the entire band as well. I wish I could say I went to this show, but it was actually a friend of mine, Bill from Rocks Records, who went and got this autographed for me. So there you go. Some of my favorite records featuring Jimmy Bain. Of course, there's a bunch of EPs, Dio EPs, and 7-inch, 12-inch singles I could have shown as well. But those are just some iconic albums that he played on. So my tribute to bassist Jimmy Bain. We'll see you in eternity, brother. That's it for this edition of The Life Till Metal. God bless. Stay strong.